The Stranger Things Podcast, Season 2, Episode 3, The Pollywog.
Mr. Henderson, you know the rules. 5 at a time.
Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
10. You already have 5 books checked out.
My mistake. However, I am on a curiosity voyage, and I need my paddles to travel. These books are my paddles.
5 at a time.
Are you shitting me?
Excuse me?
What the hell is that?
Mr. Henderson!
I need my paddle!
Hello and welcome to the Stranger Things Podcast, a fan podcast dedicated to the Netflix original series
Stranger Things.
I'm Darrell.
And I'm Addi.
How are you?
Good.
Good. So have you had a good week?
Yeah.
I have too. It's been a crazy busy week for me, as you well know. I've been working even more insane hours than normal, but glad to be sitting here on a Sunday afternoon chatting with my beautiful daughter about Stranger Things.
Colby's not in here.
And there it is, sibling rivalry. So today we're talking about Season 2, Episode 3, The Pollywog. And this is a really fun episode. I mean, this was one, you know, if you're joining us for the first time, and if you are, welcome. The premise of our show is Addi has seen the entire season, although only once, and I am watching it week to week, so I don't know what has happened or will happen beyond Season 2, Episode 3 at this point. And so this was one I watched it a week ago, because as soon as I finish editing the podcast each week, then I can go watch the next episode. Or technically, as soon as we finish recording, I don't want to get any new information prior to recording. So, but anyway, holy cow! You get to the end of this episode, and I was just like, "What? I can't wait another week!" But I've had to do that. So this one I'm really looking forward to chatting about this one with you, Addi.
All right.
All right. Now, Addi, we may have to have you push all those off to the floor. She's got a whole desk full of Funko Pop figurines. And so if they become too much of a distraction and I end up doing this podcast as a solo show, then we're going to have to get rid of those so you can focus on the conversation.
I have 18 over here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you have, what, 2?
I have 2. So it was her idea. Hey, we should grab some pop characters with us for the show today. Okay. I ended up with 2. She ended up with 18. I don't know. Well, today, as I said, we're talking about Season 2, Episode 3, The Pollywog. Addi, why don't you tell the fine folks listening who wrote and directed this episode?
It is written by is it Doble or Dobble?
I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine.
Okay, it's written by Justin Doble, and he also wrote The Body and The Bathtub in Season 1. And it's directed by Sean Levy, who directed Holly Jolly and The Body in Season 1. What are you typing?
Well, I was just chatting with some of our folks who are joining us for the live stream here on Facebook, and one of them said, "Hey, Darrell, has anyone ever told you that you look like the son of James Hetfield and Glenn Beck?" I mean that as a compliment. I've never heard Glenn Beck, but I've heard James Hetfield a lot. I mean,
who?
The lead singer of Metallica.
Who?
Are you serious? You know Metallica.
I've probably heard of them, but I don't really know.
Okay. Well, we'll have to introduce you to Metallica. Although I will say I was quite proud of Addi. She and I were shopping at the mall the other day. Well, we went and picked up Max in Halloween costume. And man, she was just, she knows her Nirvana. And I was quite proud of that. So
were we walking through like JCPenney, Macy's? Yeah,
we were leaving. We came in through JCPenney, and that was you were just telling me all the things you know about Nirvana, and it was quite a lot. Nirvana's from the 90s, though. We're talking about the 80s here in our podcast course as we talk about Stranger Things. But before we do that, we've got a contest to reconcile.
Can I announce the winner?
You can draw the winner. So we had what might be the perfect amount of entries. That is 11. When we last spoke to you guys, we had one that was kind of a sort of entry. Caitlin didn't really intend for it to be an entry, but then she was like, yeah, I said Caitlin. I meant Kaylee. Sorry about that. So we had 10 others send in theirs. And so we have for those of you joining us in the live stream, we have the Dustin Stranger Things hat. And you can see here, I've got
that would be mine.
Off to the side here. I'm going to try to do this on camera here.
Hey, I was going to draw the name.
I'm putting them in. There's 1 and 2 and 3.
My hat is really dirty.
And 4.
I'm setting up all my pop characters over here.
Okay. 6.
Doesn't care.
7, 8, 9, and 10, and lastly 11. So, one fell out. I put it back in. Giving these a nice little shake. Addi will also give them a shake, although try not to do it too much because maybe just a little pat here on the bottom, so you don't pop any of them out. And make sure you're on camera when you draw that, so we're all above board here.
Can I just stir it with my hand?
Yeah, that's fine.
Mixing the soup.
And the winner, as we said, is going to get their choice of a $25 gift card to either Amazon or Target.
Okay, drum roll.
Oh, hang on. Drum roll.
I'm going to pick one from the very bottom. Let's do this one. They're all folded up a billion times, so I can't see the name.
That's right. We made sure to fold them all.
Oops.
So
Sorry,
that
Lucas.
the names are not clear.
I managed to knock down both Lucases at the same time.
Wow. All right. And the winner is...
Drum roll.
Oh.
Andrew.
Who is it?
Andrew.
Andrew is our winner. Andrew might be in the live show. He was here, said he won't be here long, sadly, but figured I would pop in and say hi. So congratulations, Andrew. So here's what you need to do to claim your prize. Email feedback@goldenspiralmedia.com, feedback@goldenspiralmedia.com. That comes to me. And let me know 2 things. 1, do you want Amazon or Target? 2, what is your email address? I think that's all I need. I don't think I need your physical address. If it turns out I do, then I'll have your email address to contact you and get that sorted out. So congratulations, Andrew. Thanks to everybody who entered. And we had some really cool entries come in this week.
Can we draw second place and third place?
Not for this contest.
Just to see how close they were to
Here's first loser and second loser. No, we're not going to do that. All right. Thanks to everybody who entered. We'll do another contest before the season is over. So
Should we
with
just
us.
keep those names in there then?
No, that'll be a completely different contest with...
I feel bad for all of them though.
Well...
I'm sorry I have a heart.
Since when? All right. Addi and I will discuss where and when and how she managed to develop a heart while you guys listen to the episode recap. Dustin finds an unusual creature in his garbage and decides to look after it after sneaking it into the house in his homemade Ghostbusters trap. 11 is angry with Hopper for false promises that she will leave the cabin where she has been stuck for 326 days. In flashbacks, 11 finds out that Hopper has been leaving food for her and reveals her presence to him. He takes her to his grandfather's old cabin to live in secret. Bob drives Will to school, advising him to face up to his fears. He recounts how he managed to beat a series of recurring nightmares by facing the frightening aspect of his dream and telling it to go away. Nancy and Jonathan resolve to tell Barb's parents the truth about her disappearance. Dustin tries to discover what kind of creature he has found and takes the creature, who he calls D'Artagnan or Dart, to school to show the other kids. Will describes his experiences and concludes that Dart is from the Upside Down. While they are arguing, Dart escapes into the school. The boys and Max go looking for it. 11 leaves the cabin to look for Mike, ending up at the school. She sees Mike and Max together and thinks they are flirting. Joyce watches a tape from Halloween night when Will had an episode about the Upside Down and sees an image of Will's vision. While searching for Dart, Will finds the creature in one of the school's bathrooms. He has another episode where he is in the Upside Down facing the shadow creature. Taking Bob's advice to stand up to his fears, Will confronts the shadow monster, but it forces a tentacle down his throat. Don't you hate it when you get a tentacle forced down your throat? Especially one from a creepy shadow monster?
Yep, hate it when that happens.
I know, dude. It really puts a damper on your day. But you know what takes you out of the damper? Talking about Stranger Things.
Oh, I was going to say watching Stranger Things, because I'd rather watch it than talk about it with you.
I can't argue with that. That's good logic.
Just like, would you rather meet the actors or talk about them?
Yeah, meet them.
Exactly.
But alas, today, right now, we must talk about it.
If Finwolf is listening to this, call
Did
me.
you just talk over the bumper music?
Yes.
Jeez. Are you a rookie at this? Is this your first time?
You just played the music over my awesome voice.
Anyway, what I forgot to mention is that recap, we pulled that from the great folks over at the Stranger Things Wikia. So go check out all the great work going on over there. If you want to know about an episode or who that person was in an episode, or different things, different Easter eggs and things like that you can find in the episode, it's a great resource, and that's found over at strangerthings.wikia.com.
Actually, no, it's http:// strangerthings.wikia.com/parentheses.
The parentheses I put in there. So
Well, you messed up the whole website then.
Okay. Well, let's talk about the flashback portions of this. So we've got some stuff in the past where we've figured out some of the flashback storyline, but I mentioned last week there were still some holes to get filled in.
This is not how the episode starts. It needs to be in chronological order. You're turning into Instagram.
So if we do it, here's why we don't do it in chronological order. Because then you have a scene like the boys talking about Dart, and then it goes to Nancy and Steve, and then it goes to Joyce and Bob, and then it goes back to the boys talking about Dart, and it makes it hard to have those discussions.
Who cares? It's in chronological order and they can follow along.
So anyway, in flashback, we have some of those holes filled in from what we were still missing last time. I'm thinking this is probably all the flashback. If I had to guess, obviously you know and I don't, but I don't know of any questions I have left at this point in terms of, like, the only question I had was how did Hopper and 11, connect, and then how did they start at the cabin? Well, that's what we got answered this week. So we see that 11 sees Hopper at the food box, and then she decides to reveal herself to him, which is cool. It means she trusts him, right? And we learned that the cabin was Hopper's granddad's. So, and it was cool because he tells 11, this is going to be your new home.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just thought it was nice because she hasn't really had a home yet. This is going to be her first real home.
And she repeats the word home.
Yeah.
And whenever they're cleaning the house and stuff.
Yeah.
So it shows they're pulling off some blankets and coughing from the dust. And then she starts sweeping and she doesn't know how to sweep. And Hopper has to go show her how to do that. I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess Potato never taught her how to sweep the floor.
Really? Potato.
Paint the fence. He wasn't Mr. Miyagi.
What?
Sweep the floor, paint the fence. Those are what Mr. Miyagi, the Karate Kid. You've seen the Karate Kid a dozen times.
No, I haven't.
At least twice.
No, I haven't. I don't think I've seen even one of them all the way through.
Well, your mom watches them every time they're on TV. I just assumed you had soaked some of them up.
I know the wax on, wax off thing.
Exactly. Sweep the floor, paint the fence, wax on, wax off.
No, what?
Okay, fine. We also kind of get the introduction of the don't be stupid rules, which we've heard up to this point. We've heard about don't be stupid, and that we knew that there were rules and stuff. They are always keep the curtains drawn, only open the door, after you hear the secret knock, and never go out alone, especially in the daylight.
There's a really awesome shirt at Hot Topic that has all those rules on it.
Yeah. Yeah, we saw it this weekend.
Yeah, I wanted to get it, and you were like, no, we're here for hoodies. We had a limited budget, and we had a we were looking for very specific things. I would have paid you $4 whole.
Woo! I feel like Bob over here. Woo! Kenny Rogers. Woo!
Please stop.
Mr. Mom. Woo!
Please stop. You sound like my third hour teacher.
Woo!
Stop it. Seriously, you sound exactly like
this is the thing in geometry. Woo!
Oh, you know my class.
I do. Okay.
Actually, it's a woohoo.
One thing I thought was really interesting in the flashback scenes, at one point we see Hopper. This was a heartbreaking scene. We see Hopper reading to Elle. Do you know what book he was reading to her?
Anne of Green Gables.
Do you know what the significance of Anne of Green Gables is?
He read it to his daughter when she was dying in the hospital.
That's right. So that's really sad. Now, it was pretty obvious that he sees Elle as his daughter, or his, she's kind of fulfilling that need or desire that he has. But this is pretty clear, obvious evidence of that. But it's also sad. I mean, it reminds you that his daughter was taken from him by disease, and that's just the worst thing any parent could ever go through. But it also is nice because he's getting kind of a second chance to be a dad, and so that's really cool too. But it was a sad scene for me because, she asks about her mom, and he says that her mom is, what does he say? Her mom is gone? Yeah. So, friends don't lie. Do you think that when she finds out that her mom is technically still alive, is she going to consider that a lie? Because, I mean, really, her mom is gone. I mean, she's like mentally gone. So what do you think? Is that a lie or not?
I don't know. It kind of depends on how 11 took it.
Yeah.
Because whenever she was trying to find Will and Barb in the Upside Down, like in the bathtub in season 1.
Yeah.
Whenever she found Barb dead, she said, gone.
Right.
So if gone meant dead, then she'll probably take it as a lie, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's a good point. I forgot about that same language being used in that situation. And then 11 cries. So yeah, it was a really sad scene for me. I don't know. There was a couple of scenes in this episode that were kind of heartbreakers, or kind of pulled at your heartstrings, if you will. And this was one of them for me.
You skipped my note.
I didn't mean to. Which one?
Whenever we were talking about the rules, you read off the rules, never go out alone, especially in the daylight. Mm-hmm. And then right under that, I said, as she leaves the house, she says, not stupid, and then walks over the wire.
Yeah.
But she does it anyway. Like, they're the don't be stupid rules. She does it anyway and says not stupid. Yeah,
which, I mean, it's just perfect example of kids. It's easy to say kids, but any of us who don't understand the full, in this case, the danger that lurks out there. She really feels like he's being unfair to her, and I can understand why, but he is trying to protect her, and she says not stupid, but really she is pretty stupid by doing that. But
that's mean. Don't bully her.
I'm not bullying her. I'm saying she made a bad choice. In current time now, opening scene, Dustin and his mom. What were your thoughts here?
I thought it was pretty funny because she was like, she asked if he was constipated again. So
right.
He had to have been constipated before. And I don't know. Their relationship is pretty funny. And what? No,
it was hilarious. It was so funny. Both of them being awkward. The acting here was just such good comedic acting. Yeah.
Whenever I was rewatching the scene earlier, it was so awkward in between. It was so funny. And I liked he played it off really well. Like, oh, I just rigged it to make it sound like there was a monster in here.
Yeah, I would have loved to have been on set during but at the same time, I don't know how you could have kept a straight face watching both of these actors do this scene. It was so funny and so well done. Mm-hmm. Yeah. What'd you think of the cat in this scene? Do you remember what the cat did?
He hissed at it.
Yes. That's probably an Easter egg or a shout out to a different movie. Do you know which one?
No, E.T. What?
No, that's not a bad guess, but no. We've got one of our feedbackers who will reveal that answer, so you'll have to stay tuned for the Notes from the Upside Down section to get that one answered.
Let me just scroll down here.
No, it's one of the audios.
Darn.
So he takes the creature to his room and plops it out. It's this weird slug. It's a pollywog looking thing. And totally, okay, did this scene remind you of any movie? Once he got it into his room and starts feeding it and putting it into the aquarium thing, did this give you the vibes of any other movie you've seen from the 80s?
No.
Gremlins, maybe?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, totally gave me the gremlin vibes, particularly him feeding it. And because it's like, the 2 rules with Gizmo were what?
Don't feed it after midnight.
And
don't get it wet.
Yeah, exactly. So, we don't know if it was after midnight or not. We certainly don't know if those 2 rules apply or what rules apply to the Pollywog, but him getting it home and hiding it and feeding it late at night definitely gave me the vibes of gremlins.
And I like how he names it Dart, because my aunt has a dog named D'Artagnan.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Aunt Missy.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's her dog's name. Like the really fluffy one. Have you seen him?
I don't think I have. Does she call him Dart or D'Artagnan?
D'Artagnan.
Well, let's start calling him Dart.
I know. Me and Colby were just calling him Dart.
Yeah. I thought it was interesting. He doesn't like heat. So the turtle is a reptile, and so there's a heat lamp in there. I was wondering if he doesn't like light and heat or just heat.
I was wondering that too.
Yeah.
Like, whenever I rewatched it today, I was like, wait, does it just not like light? Or because I'm sure like not every lamp they had gave off like that much heat.
Yeah, like the one in the AV club. I don't think that was a heat lamp. I mean, every light puts off some heat.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah, okay. And I was thinking that because I don't think there's any question that this thing is from the upside down. And I mean, Will all but confirms that anyway. But the upside down is kind of this dark and dreary place. So I would imagine the creatures there are not used, or they are used to a lower light level. So I would think that he would be more sensitive to light, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Probably.
I guess we'll find out, or maybe we won't. But what'd you think about the next scene?
The one with Hopper?
Yeah, Hopper and Elle. He's trying to make up to her, with him coming home late from the night before and stuff like that.
I want a triple-decker Eggo extravaganza.
Yeah, that's why I wanted you to get your take on this scene first, because I know how you love Eggos and everything sweet. You have got quite a sweet tooth, just like your mom does. And
she doesn't like chocolate, though.
Yeah, yours is definitely more. But man, when I saw this, I was just like, Addi this is all up your alley.
Yep. Yeah. Give it to me.
It was pretty funny though. I mean, I don't know. I liked it. I mean, it was like whipped cream and Eggos. What was it? Chocolate chips maybe were in there. I don't know.
Probably a lot of syrup, I'm guessing too.
Mm-hmm.
They are Eggos.
Yeah. But, it seems like they kind of reconnect a little bit anyway, at least for a moment. And then she starts, he asked if she had, visited Will or Mike again. She wants to see him. He says she'll see him soon. And this is when she calls him out. Friends don't lie. You said I'd see him soon on day 21, day 205, now on day 326. And then he's like, so what? You're counting days like you're some sort of prisoner here. So I don't remember what all I said last week when it was clear that she was getting frustrated with having been cooped up in the cabin. I think I said that she was still kind of respecting the boundaries, which she was at that point. Obviously this week she's had enough and the boundaries, she is no longer respecting those. Again, I don't know that I blame her though. Do you? I mean, she doesn't have the knowledge that he has. We don't know. Remember last season, Addi, I almost called you Elle. One of the very last scenes was him getting into the car with the guys in the suits, and we still don't know what was said to him. Yeah. I would assume it was similar to some of the discussions that happened with the Wheelers at their house, that Nancy and Steve were talking about last week in the library. He was basically threatened and stuff like that, would be my guess. But I don't know. But yeah, he knows the dangers that are out there. And she clearly doesn't, but she uses her little force powers and crashes the table and slams the door, and she's had enough.
Yeah.
You ever do that?
I wish.
Yeah, you have to use your hands to slam the door.
I know, right? So hard.
Okay. Let's talk about the scene at the buyer's house when Joyce is running late because she can't find something. It turns out to be her keys. No surprise.
How many times is that now? Like 3? Once in the first season, twice already this season?
Yeah, that's her thing.
She really needs to get like a command strip and just put it next to her door to put her keys on.
It definitely needs some place to put them. I don't know. What were your thoughts? Did you get any I don't know how to ask this question. Did you think anything was out of place in this scene?
Bob was there.
Yeah, I guess it was the first night or first time Bob had stayed the night.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Is this a trick question?
No, I want to know your opinion. I'm about to give you my opinion, and I just was trying to see if you had anything that you thought was out of place here.
Her keys.
Technically, yes. Yeah. Okay. I just think, okay. And I don't know, back in episode 1, Corey called in and was like, I don't trust Bob. And I was like, oh man, I hadn't thought of that. And now I can't get that out of my mind. It just seemed fishy to me that everyone's looking all over for the keys. And then all of a sudden Bob finds them. And he was like, yeah, there was a pair of jeans on top of them.
Why was he looking under the jeans though?
Well, when you're looking for keys, you're looking everywhere. I don't know. I just think that I think he hid the keys, or he had them on him the whole time and was waiting to reveal the keys until he knew that Joyce wouldn't have time to take Will to school. And then he would be like, hey, I could take Will to school, easy peasy. And so then he could get Will alone. This is total conspiracy. I'm like, Corey, I'm like Toonsis the driving cat. Like, you told me Bob's not a good guy, and I'm totally with you. And now I'm driving that car with Bob off the cliff. I'm not going all the way. I'm committed to driving off the cliff with this thing. I think that Bob hid the keys so that Joyce would be late and he would have a chance to talk to Will, and he could encourage Will to confront the shadow monster, because he knows about the shadow monster because he is from the lab. He's a plant from the lab, and he knew that having Will confront the shadow monster would, I don't know what, but he just knew that would kind of be what they wanted to happen. That's my crazy tinfoil hat theory.
It's way out there. I don't think that's right.
Well, you would know.
Yeah. I mean, I still think Bob's a good person.
Okay. I don't trust Bob at all. And so now I'm just making up stories about him so that I can not like him all the more.
You don't trust it even when he breathes. Just don't do that. You're doing it wrong.
That's right. Yeah. I don't know. I don't trust Bob. Am I alone? Let me know what you think of the Bob theory. But they're in the car, and so yeah, he does drive Will to school, and he tells Will about Mr. Baldo the clown. Okay,
so this one's a great theory.
Okay.
You might want to take a seat for this. It's pretty great.
Okay, so, I'm sitting down.
Bob is from Maine, which I asked you that earlier because I wasn't sure if it revealed it or not.
Yeah, this was the episode we learned he was from Maine.
Yeah, I was too lazy to go find it, so okay. I just asked you. So, yeah, Bob's from Maine, and he said whenever he was a kid, a clown offered him a balloon. Sound familiar?
Yeah.
In Maine?
Yeah.
It takes place in Maine.
Yeah.
In Derry, to be exact.
Yeah.
It's Derry. And the clown wouldn't go away until he faced his fear, which that's how in the original mini-series, that's how they got Pennywise to go away. Besides the battery acid and that at the beginning part whenever they were kids. But I mean, that didn't really do anything. But the main way to get him to stop messing with you is to just stand up to him and not be scared.
Yep. And
he would have been around the same, it would have been the same time that Pennywise would have been around. So he would have been the right age and stuff. So what if that was Pennywise and I don't know, Mr. Baldo was just a cover-up name? Yeah,
maybe. Well, Pennywise is bald.
Not entirely bald.
No, but he's bald on top. If you saw someone like that, you would say he's bald.
I guess.
Well, it's not a crazy theory. I mean, Stephen King is definitely one of the sources of inspiration for this show, so it might have just been their way of paying homage to to Stephen King, and obviously it ties into the show because of Finn Wolfhard's participation in that project. So, all right, I like it. Okay, Dustin takes Dart to school. By the way, we heard the scene in the library. That was our opener for today's show. Just a hilarious scene.
Really
I was
funny.
really glad you chose that one for the opener today. Also hilarious was Dustin's entrance into Mr. Clark's classroom.
Yeah, he just like busts in there and erupts. Continue.
Yeah. Now, do you remember what Mr. Clark was teaching on when he got there?
No, I don't remember. I didn't actually rewatch the entire episode.
Yeah, I don't remember it was the guy who had the crowbar stuck through his head. And, he wasn't the same after that.
The iron rod, you mean?
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. So, I mean, I think that's kind of a parallel to Dustin. Listen to me. Will. I mean, Will had an experience, life-changing experience, and he's not the same. We've heard Hopper say that, and we've heard...
The doctor. Was it the doctor?
Yeah, somebody else said that things won't be the same.
I thought it was the doctor.
Might have been. So, anyway, Dustin shows Dart to the boys. Actually, Max is there too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I thought was weird because later in the episode...
They kicked her out.
Yeah. I don't know. But Will flashes to the slug that he spit out of his mouth and the sounds of the upside down. So this is what information I was pulling in. I mentioned last week that I thought it was the slug, and here's why. I think I nailed this one. I actually got one of my predictions spot on, I think.
Yeah. I mean... But, okay, I don't understand why he didn't say anything. Like...
Yeah.
I mean, the bell rang like 2 seconds after that, but they could have walked together in the hall and he could have been like, wait, guys.
Yeah. I mean, he tells Mike, and I think that's probably because of the bonding moment that Mike and Will shared last week after Will flashed to the upside down and Mike took him home. But still...
I mean, he should at least tell Dustin so he's not living with it in his house.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah. Totally with you. So Mike and Lucas think it would be a good idea to tell Hopper about Dart, and Dustin is afraid that Hopper will kill Dart, and this is ridiculous. I mean, Dustin, I know he's a kid, and so kids will be kids, and we all do dumb things, especially when we're kids, but this is incredibly, incredibly dumb because they don't know what this thing is or what it's going to grow to become. Will has a very strong idea that it's from the upside down. In my opinion, there's no question here. Dart must die. They need to take that thing out and drop a brick on its head or something. Run it over with a car.
Just like Mom's old phone.
Yeah, it needs to die. There's nothing good that can come of Dart, in my opinion. Nothing at all. But Dustin, because he cares about it, he's got this bond with it, and he's honestly, part of it is his own pride. He's telling Mr. Clark, whatever I show you here, it's my discovery. I discovered this, and he's got his own pride in the way, and it's really, I'm afraid of what it's going to cause. This thing's growing rapidly, and I don't know what it is. I think it could be anything from just some crazy creature from the upside down to another Demogorgon. It could be a baby Demogorgon because it's like, and we don't see any teeth. We don't see the mouth flapping open like the Demogorgon style. I don't know. I just, nothing good can come of this.
All right.
I know you can't say anything. You have that look like you can't. So I understand that. And again, we're kind of following the storylines along here. So, I don't understand why they kicked Max out at the end of school. Do you? Do you have any ideas? I mean, clearly she's not fully one of them, but they had her in earlier. She already knew about it.
I don't know. Maybe because Mike just got fed up.
This is before, they had their little conversation in the gym.
No, because it was already obvious that he didn't like her. So maybe he told them off camera that he didn't. I don't know. Maybe. Because, they were spending a lot of time with her and he didn't want to. So maybe they were just like, okay, so we don't have to spend that much time. So they just kicked her out.
Maybe. I'd just like to know, other than it just being this kind of convenience thing where now she's trying to get in and she provides the escape route. for Dart. I mean, I don't know. It just didn't make a whole lot of sense to me, other than it was just kind of written into the show to give them a convenient way to get Dart out of there. Will finds Dart in the bathroom, and this is really where it made me wonder if it was going to turn into the Demogorgon, because Will looks at it. He's like, "I'm not going to hurt you," and then it goes, "Roar!" And of course, Will runs away, flashes into the Upside Down, and tries to confront the smoke monster. Like, this is Lost. The shadow monster, and of course it infiltrates him, or just pours itself into his facial pores. Great ending, by the way.
Not for Will.
No, but as far as like a cliffhanger style, like suspenseful ending, that like made the episode for me.
Could you imagine if that was the end of the season?
Oh my gosh. That would have been terrible. I'm a little bit worried after that look you're giving me. Like, crap, there's going to be a big cliffhanger at the end of the season, which is pretty typical. I don't know. I mean, I know you can't say too much about Will here. The thing that, okay, we saw in the trailers, there's a scene where Will is outside and he is completely just out of it. He's just standing there, and Joyce is standing in front of him, screaming at him, to snap out of it. And he's just standing there.
And all the other kids are there with him.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure that's what we're going to see in the next episode, because Joyce is on her way to the school. He's outside. He's being consumed by this smoke. That's the thing now, isn't it? The shadow monster.
A shadow monster.
So I think that's what we're going to see in the next episode, but I guess I'll find out shortly.
Could I just tell you?
No. You can't spoil me, and you can't spoil anyone else listening.
But it's not spoilery if it's in the trailer.
But I don't know when. I mean, it might not be next episode. There might be something else that leads up to it. This is my prediction of what that is.
It's in season 3, actually.
I know that's not true. Okay. Let's talk about Elle. Let's talk about her storyline. You mentioned already, she says she's not stupid. She breaks all the rules one by one. She opens the blinds. She opens the blinds. She goes out in the daylight. What was the third rule?
She opened the door without the knocking.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah. And then she went out in the daytime.
You already said that, though.
I know. I was just trying to work through them all.
Talk over me, I see.
Yeah.
Try to think that you're more important.
Yeah. I don't know. What'd you think of her field trip?
I thought it was funny how she just left like that, just breaking every single rule. Like, it was funny.
It was funny. It wasn't enough just to open the door and leave. It was like,
no, you had to do, like, if you're going to break every rule, you're going to break every rule.
That's right. Yeah. That was funny. So she encounters the mom and the child. This is where again, she's being stupid. It's one thing to say, okay, Hopper, I think your rules are stupid, but surely, like, go back to season 1 when she encountered people. She had a fear about, like, there was that fear instinct that kept her safe, and she doesn't really seem to have that working to her advantage. She just stands there with the mom and her daughter, and then does the weird thing with the swing set. And so what are they going to do? They're going to call the police, obviously. So she just doesn't seem to be even employing the bit of common sense that she had last season.
True. I think she should have left, like, in a normal way.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the lady said school, or she said school, and the lady pointed to where it was. She could have just said thank you and walked off, and that would have been the end of it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Way to go, 11.
Great job.
Yeah.
You had one job, and you didn't do it right.
But instead, the lady calls, the police station. Officer Powell then radios Hopper and says, hey, Hopper, those things about the Russian girl that we were hearing? I think they might be true. And Hopper's getting that on his walkie-talkie speaker. So I'm pretty sure the Dr. Owens heard what Powell said. And so now he knows that 11 is out there somewhere. So the whole thing, again, the rules are there to protect her. They're not stupid. And she's just blown the whole thing, in half a day. I don't know what's going to happen now because, I don't think she's going back to the house or back to the cabin. We saw in the trailer that she's eventually going to end up at her mom's house, but I don't know if that's where she's going next or not. But of course, we needed drama. We needed her to get out of the cabin at some point for this season in order to create the drama. But I'm just disappointed in how, I don't want to say stupid. She's making stupid decisions. She's not stupid. She's obviously very, very intelligent, but she's making stupid decisions, and I'm kind of disappointed in her decision making.
Okay.
Because she's not that stupid. That's my point.
She even tells us she's not stupid.
Right. And then goes and does stupid things.
That's just what Colby used to call Stranger Things.
Yeah. Forgot about that.
Disowning him from the family.
Yeah. Okay. But the one thing she does do is she makes her way to the school. I know you've got some thoughts about this.
I was kind of disappointed. Actually, no, I was very disappointed. She wasn't supposed to interfere with Mike and Eleven's relationship, and she did.
You're talking about Max?
Yeah, Max. But like, okay, honestly, Max kind of reminds me of myself a lot because there'll be like a group of friends, and I'm like, ooh, I want to join their friend group, and so I'll just like try so hard, and they're just like just a couple people will be like, no, I don't like you. But then the other ones will be like, yeah, you're a friend. But yeah, I thought it was hilarious whenever she made her fall on the skateboard.
Yeah. This was another one of those kind of heartstrings scenes for me because you see like Mike and Elle just barely missing each other in the hallways. And then she can hear him and she recognizes his voice and she gets there and she totally misunderstands the situation. Like she thinks Mike and Max are flirting and they're not. At all. Well,
it kind of seems like Max might be.
Well, I don't know. Maybe.
She's kind of acting like it.
I don't know. I think she's just trying to get in the group. And the way Mike is smiling when she's kind of saying what she's, I could be your Zoomer, and she's kind of just skating around in a circle and stuff. I mean, they're definitely both enjoying the moment, but I don't know that they're flirting with each other, but
I don't think Mike is. I think Max is, and she needs to back off.
Yeah. But I think she walked up and Mike is smiling at Max and she, as you would say, she yeets Max off of her skateboard.
Yep. She got wrecked.
She did. Yeah.
I wish she was still out there. Like whenever he goes to open the door, I wish she was still out there.
Yeah. I was going to say, where do you think she went? Of course, you know the answer to that. And I don't. Like, I don't think she's going to go back to the cabin. I don't think she goes to her mom's house yet. I don't think she goes to the Wheeler's house either. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if she just goes and finds a place in the woods and cries.
Okay, then.
I mean, I just don't know where she goes now. Obviously, she'll get found by other people eventually, but for now, I think she just goes and cries in the woods. That's probably what I would do.
You cry in the woods?
Every chance I get.
Okay, then.
Okay. So, Joyce is pretty freaking awesome. In season 1, Joyce was the one who figured out how to interpret the lights. Joyce is the one who not only figured out how to interpret the lights, that they were a communication from the upside down. She's the one that figured out how to at first get yes and no answers out of Will. And then she's the one that figured out the now iconic alphabet wall. And that was all impressive. Now in season 2, she's the one that figures out that his drawings mean something and they match up with the backyard. And she's the one that figures out that videotape from Halloween night has an image emblazoned on it of the shadow monster. She's pretty freaking awesome. Yeah.
I think she didn't really suspect anything, though, because she was just watching it because she wanted to see who the bullies were.
Right.
And then she discovered the shadow monster.
Yeah. Yeah, she's got great observation skills. She's got good instincts.
Okay. It looked like, so it had like the pause, like the word pause in the corner. And like she moved her hand and it looked like she like tapped it and it went away. But like I know that obviously didn't happen because they weren't touch screen. But like, I don't know, it looked like she like waved her hand or she touched it and the word pause went away. And I don't know. I thought that was really weird. I watched that scene like 20 billion times.
I missed that. I didn't notice that. I thought it was hilarious though when she's trying to figure out how to get that VHS-C, that little small cassette player, and she puts it into the VCR, and it's just she calls Bob and just getting help. I don't know. So that was hilarious.
Sounds like something Mom would do.
Yeah, well, I mean, not just Mom, but yeah, totally. And then Bob's like, "Yeah, you got to turn the coaxial."
She's like, "English, please."
Yeah. So it was a funny scene, I thought. Okay. When Joyce is, I want to mention one thing about the music here. When Joyce realizes that it's the shadow monster, like she realizes there's something on the screen and she's like tracing it rather. The music kicks in. It's like, I don't know exactly how it goes, but it's like that dark, mysterious, I don't know. The music drops right there. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. That is so good. Like that music,
It's called The Upside Down.
So that's the name of the song, is The Upside Down?
Yeah.
Is that a carryover, I guess, from season 1 then? Or is it did they remix it a little bit for season 2?
Season 1.
Okay. I just don't remember it. I don't remember where they put it in season 1, but man, in that moment, I thought it was a perfect song choice. I loved it. Let's talk about something we don't always talk about, and that's Steve and Nancy. I know you and I don't necessarily care a whole lot about that relationship, but there were some big developments in this episode, so we need to at least talk about it a little bit. And I'm thinking that you're starting to like Steve a little bit more and more each episode. You even chose him as one of your pop characters for today. You can't drop him on the floor now and act like it didn't happen. Like, she may have 18 of them in front of her now, but originally she had 11, and he was one of the 11.
Just because he has a spiked bat and he's hurt.
I think you need to face the reality that you now like Steve.
No, I don't.
I think you do.
No, I don't.
Okay. You can deny it all you want.
I will never like Steve.
Okay. What did you think about Steve and Nancy's confrontation in the alley?
We saw it in the trailer.
Yeah. That's all you're going to give me?
I don't know. What are your thoughts?
It's not surprising. It's exactly what we thought when we recorded last week's episode, that it was kind of a continuation of their fight in the bathroom. She's now sober and she doesn't even remember what she said. I thought it was interesting that Jonathan tried to cover for Steve. Steve tells her that Jonathan, her other boyfriend, took her home and blah, blah, blah. And then she goes and asks Jonathan about it. And Jonathan, he's like, well, yeah, I did that because Steve asked me to. It was just a complete lie. But I think Jonathan he doesn't want to be the reason they break up. Like, it's clear that he likes Nancy. He's liked her since last season, but he wants to probably have his chance with Nancy, but he doesn't want to break them up and then move in. Like, he wants them to break up
like on their own
and then move in. And I can totally get that, so I think that's why he's trying to cover for Steve. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's the reason, because I wouldn't want to be the reason like two people break up too.
Yeah. What surprised me though was that, so she sees the guy on his Walkman and she decides she can use that as her cover story, and they go to Radio Shack and they get a new phone and they call Barb's mom. This surprised me. Why
do they need a new phone? That's what I was confused about, because at first I was like, oh, caller ID. They didn't have caller ID. What are they doing?
Yeah. Well, you remember last week we saw the flashback of the night that 11 disappeared. We saw them putting the scientists, FBI guys, or the government guys, were putting bugs in the phones. Mm-hmm. So she thought she could just go to Radio Shack and get a new phone that they hadn't put a bug in and use that to call Barb's mom, and they would be none the wiser. That's what I think.
Maybe.
But the fact is, they've got the whole house tapped, just like they had Joyce's house tapped back in season 1. So they're going to hear no matter what. The other theory, or the other way that I think you could interpret this, is that she's trying to set a trap for the government guys, but that doesn't really make any sense to me. That certainly wouldn't require her to go get a new phone. So I think she just thought if she got a new phone, they wouldn't be able to hear her conversation.
Okay, that's probably true.
Yeah. All right, last part of the storyline we have to talk about is a little bit, just a tiny bit on Billy. I don't know what to call her. This is girl. I was going to say girlfriend. It's not really, I don't know. It might be his girlfriend. awfully fast if it is. But anyway, he's with this girl at his car, and they're waiting on Max. They give up on her, and she refers to Max as his sister, and he says, Max is not my sister. Right? That's not the quote, but he says that Max is not his sister. What are your thoughts here? What are your theories on why he would say that?
So maybe he's just like embarrassed of her. Like the same reason I don't want you and mom to hang around me all the time.
Yeah.
And then the second reason could be because like he's upset that he said that it was her fault that they had to move the Hawkins. Mm-hmm. So maybe he's upset that she caused him to do that. And okay, obviously I know a little bit more about the relationship than you do. So.
Right. So you can't say too much, but
yeah.
Okay. But that's the kind of stuff I love for you to do, is to kind of tap into what your original thoughts were. And I think those are both legit theories. It's understandable for, just like you said, you're embarrassed of your mom and I. That's natural. It's embarrassed for an older brother to be embarrassed of his younger sister. I'm
not embarrassed of Colby though.
Well,
I love Colby. I embarrassed him.
Yeah, exactly. He's embarrassed of you. I've got a couple of theories too. I think we remember back in the car last episode when they were about to kill the boys. When he said, "Whose fault is it that we're here?" She said, "It's your fault." And then he was like, "Whose fault is it? Say it, or whatever." But maybe they're both right. What if they're both special? What if they're both, say, orphaned, for lack of a better phrase, scientific experiments? What if they both were escaped from kind of going back to the fire starter analogy or fire starter tie-in that I was talking about last week, where in that movie, Drew Barrymore, her parents had been experimented on and she had these special powers too. So what if both Max and Billy have special powers, but they're not blood related? They just both came from whatever these science experiments were that made them special. And I also, if that's the case, then I'm thinking, okay, well, what made them end up in Hawkins of all places? Why end up in Hawkins? Where all this is happening, where there's this lab, there's this other place that's experimenting on children. So maybe their parents brought them to Hawkins to be close to the lab, which would kind of fly counter to my theory of they're running from the government that I threw out there last week. But I don't know. It just seems too coincidental that maybe both of them are special and then both of them end up in Hawkins where special things are happening. So, but that's my best theory, is that they're not technically brother and sister. They're both just special experiments that, they came from this program of some sort. Okay, then. Is that all? That's the best I can come up with. Yep. Okay. Any other thoughts on the episode? I think we've talked about all the different scenes and stuff. Again, the ending of it I thought was just fantastic. Any other thoughts from you? No, but I do think you should put them in chronological order. Yeah, let's see if we can do something different next week. It is kind of a bummer not to end on the cliffhanger scene of the episode. All right, what was your rating for this episode? 10 library books, 5 of them overdue. Nice. I love that rating. Very creative. Nice job. Thank you. Yeah. I gave it 9 cans of Dr. Pepper. Why only 9? I just felt like the episode moved a little bit slow. The ending was so fantastic. Again, I thought that Elle made some questionable decisions that were outside of... She's a very intelligent girl. I know she's got some pent-up angst, but I still felt like some of her decision making was a little bit out of character. I felt like they wrote Max hanging outside the room just so they'd have an excuse to have the door open and let Dart escape. So just a couple of little things in there that brought it down to a 9. But still a very, 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 very good episode. Maybe my favorite of the season so far. What? Is Dad changing his rating? What? That's weird. 900 cans of Dr. Pepper. My mistake. All right. Well, we're going to talk about Notes from the Upside Down, which is listener feedback. But before we do, let's listen to a promo about Arrow Squad, another podcast here on the Golden Spiral Media Network.
Hey, this is Martin Flash.
And
And I'm Cammie the Chameleon, and we're the hosts of Arrow Squad.
Join us here each Saturday during Arrow season for all the info and conversation about all of Star City's heroes.
And villains. We'll be covering the highs.
Oh man, did you see Dinah tonight? Once again, the stunt choreography was fantastic.
And the lows.
Now, if I could just be salty Cammie for a second.
We'll be answering all your questions.
And sharing all your thoughts and theories about what's going down with Team Arrow.
So join us here each week.
We are the Arrow Squad.
Yeah, a lot of great stuff happening over at Arrow Squad. So go check out Martin and Cammie. They do a great job covering that show. Addi, you ready for some notes from the Upside Down?
Yep. Please stop. I can still sing it on the screen.
I love dancing to that song. I always have. Back in the days when we used to play that song as part of our Revolution podcast, I would dance every week. Jeremy would not. And it was even like all the way to the very end when we knew it was going to be the last podcast because they had canceled the show. The most I could get Jeremy to do was a little dance with his finger. Like he was the guy from Red Run.
Huh?
The Shining. Yes, that's right.
I've never seen it.
Okay. Let's start out with some audio feedback. We got a couple of audios this week, and the first one comes in from Kelvin.
Hello, Addi and Darrell. My name is Kelvin Dodge up here in Montana, great Rocky Mountains. I'm just calling. I want to thank you very much for this great podcast you guys are doing. It's just a great format where you're kind of comparing basically Darrell's perspective when he grew up and also the modern age with Addi and how each of those perspectives kind of is showing off with the love for the show. I'm kind of more of an older, I guess, generation. I was born in 1990, not quite an 80s baby, but I grew up on a lot of stuff from the 80s. So this show just is great for all the interests that I have with movies, music, etc. And anywho, getting back to season 2, episode 3. Originally, when I watched this, I didn't think it was maybe as strong as the first two. But on my rewatch of the season right now, it just is amazing. I love how it's a little slower paced. It's almost like the calm before the storm. But the storm does happen at the end of this episode. It's incredible. We first get the just hilarious, funny moment between Dustin and his mom. He's trying to hide this find of his, but and there's this great little reference to Alien where his cat hisses just like Jonesy from Alien. Incredible. And just the character development's amazing. Hopper with 11 showing some, relationship building there. Bob really starts to grow me on this episode. I feel like now I start to realize like, hey, he's probably a good influence. I don't think there's anything shady going on here. And then his advice that he gives to Will is just great. And at first it's kind of funny and, maybe it's just kind of like adult advice for, the general bullying thing. But in the final moments of the episode, when the shadow monster's getting ready to, abduct him, and you don't know quite what's happening, they kind of compare that to when, Bob is giving him this advice and Will stands his ground. You think it's going to work out maybe for a moment, but nope, it does not. And it's just quite a storm at the end. So originally when I watched this, I thought maybe it was a little weaker, maybe 7 out of 10, but this time on my rewatch, I'm giving it a 10 classic vinyl records. And just want to say thanks again for the great content you guys are offering to this podcast. And also just want to shout out, I also posted a picture on your Facebook page. And if you guys catch that, maybe consider it for your contest. Anywho, thanks a bunch, and you guys enjoy your run of season 2. Have a good one.
All right. Thanks, Kelvin. We did get your picture. Very, very good picture. He's dressed up as Hopper. He has Diegos. And
that was him?
Yeah.
I liked that picture.
Yeah, it was really good. And we did use it as a contest entry. Unfortunately, Addi didn't choose you, so don't blame me.
Hey, at least I felt bad, and you were like, no, second and third place.
Yeah. And so he gave us the answer of the cat.
It was Alien.
Alien. There you go. Yeah.
I was close.
Yeah, you mentioned a movie about an alien.
Yeah, Colby. I mean, E.T. He fell from the sky, I'm telling you.
Uh-huh. All right, Kelvin, good to hear from you, man. And hopefully we will hear from you again before the season's out. Or every week. That'd be great, too. Addi, would you like to take the first written feedback?
So this is from Ben T. Hey guys, Ben again. Episode 3 was really dang scary at the end, which when it happened, I was like, Bob, you idiot. Though I still love him, he had very stupid advice. That's true. But still, the twist with the shadow monster on the TV was really good. Either way, Dart could have some interesting developments. Anyway, and sorry, Addi. Until next time, stay strange. By the way, thanks for featuring me on the podcast. You're welcome. And you stole my outro again.
Ben has sent in feedback for every single episode from now through the end of the season. So I haven't read them yet. I just got them tucked away in each of those episodes. We kind of keep them organized. So looking forward to hearing you steal Addi's sign off every episode between now and the end of the season. I thought it was really cool too. We didn't really talk too much about the shadow monster. Yes, Joyce found it on the TV, but I guess what that means is that the shadow monster is always there, even in our dimension. We just don't really see him. Like the video camera had the ability to see something that the naked eye couldn't.
Yeah.
That's pretty creepy.
And it also, I liked how you could see like Will getting up. Because whenever I first like watched that, I kind of thought, oh, Will's like at that point, Will's kind of just a ghost. But then I was like, wait, how did Mike know where to find him?
Yeah. Also interesting here, Kelvin and Ben have kind of opposing views on Bob's advice. I mean, I think both of them feel like Bob gave the advice in good intent, although I disagreed with that. Bob's advice, I think all of us would agree, turned out to not be good advice, though. Which is one reason why I think he gave it on purpose. Let's get to our next audio feedbacker. This one comes in from Mads.
Hi there. My name is Mads and I'm a listener from Denmark. When I first started listening to a podcast, which I did after having watched season 2, then for some reason in my head I imagined that Addi looks exactly like Elle, which of course would be weird, but I don't know why I did that. I didn't have as clear an idea about Darrell in my head, but an obvious assumption could be to picture Hopper because of the father-daughter relationship that they seemed to develop in season 2. But now I've seen some pictures of you guys on your website and on Twitter, and it's nice to have some faces connected to the voices. About season 2, I'd like to say that I think it's awesome that Sean Astin is on the show because of the Goonies, but also because of The Lord of the Rings. When those movies came out, I was about the same age as the boys on the show, and I was a huge fan of those movies. So in a way, the presence of Sean Astin creates a kind of a generation thing for me. Of course, not in the same way as the whole show does for those who remember the 80s, but it does something for me. So I really love that Sean Astin is on the show. Many of my favorite movies of all time are from the 80s. Some of them, which I've rewatched countless times, are the Star Wars sequels, the Indiana Jones movies, The Thing, The Breakfast Club, The Shining, and Die Hard. I'm not sure if Die Hard has influenced Stranger Things, but maybe we'll see Hopper run around with no shoes, killing some bad guys in some future episodes. But I'd like to ask you guys, what are your favorite 80s movies? I'm really enjoying your podcast, so thank you for that, and keep up the good work. Bye.
Wow, how cool is this, Addi? Getting feedback from halfway around the world.
Yeah, whenever we listened to it the first time, it was pretty cool. You saw my facial expressions. It was really cool.
Your facial expression was pretty awesome.
Yeah, I like the accent.
Yeah. So he said, and thanks for mistaking me or thinking I might look something like Hopper. I cannot grow a beard. My voice isn't nearly that awesome. Thing
on the bottom of your chin?
I can grow a goatee, but that's it. I can't grow anything on my cheeks. My mustache, I haven't tried to grow it out in years. So the goatee is all I can do. Addi, he asked a question. Favorite 80s movie?
You go first.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, because I've seen
Gremlins.
A lot of them. Gremlins is up there. You know, the Star Wars movies, most of those of the original trilogy are 80s films. So like The Return of the Jedi is one of my favorites. I for the longest time, I preferred Jedi over The Empire Strikes Back, although just slightly. In the last few years, I've come to appreciate The Empire Strikes Back and like it a little bit more now than Jedi. Back to the Future is up there for me. I love that movie. That's when we actually own the whole box set. But if I had to pick one, and we're talking about from the 80s, my favorite would be from 1989, starring Jack Nicholson.
I don't know who that is.
Directed by Tim Burton.
The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Music by Danny Elfman. And starring Michael Keaton.
Just say the stupid title already.
Batman. What about you?
Well, since no one likes Batman, it's not Batman.
Lots of people like Batman, Addi.
I don't know why. Superman's way better. I like E.T. and I like Gremlins. I haven't seen that many 80s movies.
Mm-hmm. You've seen the Back to the Future movies. You've seen Indiana Jones, all those movies. You've seen
I don't really
the original trilogy for Star Wars, although the very first one was 1977, so it doesn't count for this question.
Wait. What was the very first one? Was it the one with little Anakin? Because I like the one with little Anakin.
The one with little Anakin was made in 1998, something like that. I don't know the year it came out. We're talking about the one with the very first Luke Skywalker. They blew up the Death Star for the first time. The second one, Luke, I am your father. The third one, blow up the Death Star again. Darth Vader dies. Spoiler alert, by the way. These movies are 40 years old. I hope that's not a spoiler. All right, pick.
Yeah, none of those. How about E.T. and Gremlins, like I've already said?
Okay, so you've picked two. All right. Well, there you go. Well, thank you. And I know I mispronounced your name. I don't know how to pronounce it. So it sounded like myths to me, but I don't want to I don't know. But anyway, thank you for calling and thank you for sending in your feedback and hope to hear from you again.
Yeah, seriously. You should send more feedback. That's awesome.
Let's go back to our written feedback here. This one come in, and again, I don't know how to pronounce this one. Is it Reynard? I'm going to go with Reynard. How would you pronounce it, Addi?
Reynard.
Okay. Dear Darrell and Addi, I like how I put my name first. I caught the Stranger Things bug a bit late, but I'm now caught up with you and completely obsessed. My wife watched it when season 1 came out. I only watched it out of my peripherals at the time, but I just binge watched for 3 days, 2 of which while I was at work. Shh, don't tell my boss. I watched the first chapter of part 2, and when 11 appeared on screen with longer hair, I had to hold back the tears of joy while my coworkers asked if I was okay. My wife wants to watch the rest of part 2 together, so I stumbled upon this podcast while I wait. I really enjoy your show, and I listened to all of part 1 episodes in one day. Wow, he binged our whole first season in one day. That's incredible. And he says, keep up the good work, from a fellow Okie, Reynard. So yeah, he also joined our Facebook group. And when he joined, I was like, oh, cool. We got another Okie in our Facebook group. And then he sent in feedback. And I was like, oh, cool. He sent in feedback. So thanks. Thank you so much.
Did you know that the word Okie comes from, I learned this in English class.
Okay.
Like the one thing I've actually learned in that class, because it's really boring and I already know everything. So, it's a term that was used by the people and the people who lived in California during the time of the Great Depression, whenever people from Oklahoma were moving to California to look for jobs. Mm-hmm. So yeah, they called us Okies. Everyone who moved over there, they were Okies. And then everyone from Arkansas who did the same thing were called Arkies.
Oh, I'm glad we're Okies and not Arkies.
Hey, at least we're not from Texas.
That's right. That's right. Okay, let's get back to feedback. We got some stuff that came in via Twitter. You want to take both of those, Addi?
The one from Michael Hill.
I'm sorry, I was scrolled down too far. Yes, that's actually Facebook. This is from, we start a discussion thread about every episode on our Facebook page. And we'd love for you to come over and, share your thoughts. That's a great way for you to send in your feedback. And so we started a discussion thread on the Pollywog, and we didn't have a whole lot of discussion, but this is what we got in from that thread. So
Michael Hill says, very reminiscent of ET/Gremlins.
Mm-hmm, totally agree. So I said, my thoughts too, Dustin never should have fed Dart after midnight.
And then Michael says, haha, and clearly he got him wet at some point. Also, notice they don't like the heat that may or may not come from bright light.
To which I said, I'm thinking bright light, since it's from the Upside Down where it's always overcast and low light. It's probably pretty sensitive to light. Could be a clue on the big monster's weakness this season. So I was speculating that the shadow monster, which is true. I mean, what puts out a shadow? Light. Just saying.
Okay. So then Ruthie Rink says, I think it's actually heat related because the light in the turtle aquarium wasn't really bright. Those types of lights are designed to generate warmth more than light because that's what cold-blooded creatures need.
Yeah, and I think she's right. But Addi, as you pointed out, the one in the AV Club wasn't necessarily a heat light. So, and he didn't like that one either. So I don't know. We'll see. Time will tell.
Yeah, I guess.
And then we got a little bit on Twitter. Ken from Chicago says, this is in regards to our last podcast, Addi felt sorry for Steve.
No, I didn't.
Run, Darrell, run. Clearly she has been replaced with an evil doppelganger from the Upside Down.
I don't feel bad for Steve.
You did last episode.
I hope he dies.
I don't believe you.
I hope he dies. I hope he falls off the cliff.
I think you have turned into Steve Team, or Team Steve.
No, I'm not. I'm still Team Jonathan. That's never going to change.
You're totally Team Steve, I can tell.
Okay, I hate him less, but I'm still Team Jonathan.
Okay, whatever. And one more.
Austin Lane 1 says, nice way to start the day. Image of him listening to our podcast.
Yeah, so he attached an image of our podcast on his player.
Nice, bro.
Thank you, Austin. I assume Austin, whatever your real name is. Maybe you're from Austin. Okay, well, that's all the feedback we got for this episode. We'd love to share your thoughts about next week's episode, and the way you do that is to send us...
Call in at 304-837-2278, or our feedback page. You can tell them that.
goldenspiralmedia.com/feedback.
And then you can keep the conversation going on social media, and our Instagram is Stranger Things GSM, and I'll probably be inactive for a while. You don't need details. Our Twitter is Upside Down GSM, and our Facebook is www.facebook.com/groups/Stranger Things GSM.
All right, so we'd love to have you join us over there and pick up the conversation with us each week. All right, Addi, you know what's next?
Quote of the week.
Yeah, so what'd you pick this week?
The quote is, it was like a magnet or something pulling on my board. And Max says that.
All right, here it is.
Why do you hate me so much?
I don't hate you. How can I hate you? I don't even know you.
Yeah, but you don't want me in your party?
Correct.
Why not?
Because you're annoying. Also, we don't need another party member. I'm our paladin, Will's our cleric, Dustin's our bard, Lucas is our ranger, and Elle's our mage.
Elle? Who's Elle?
Someone. No one.
Someone or no one?
She was in our party a long time ago. She moved away, okay?
She was a mage? What could she do, like magic tricks or something? Well, I could be your Zoomer.
That's not even a real thing.
It could be. See? Zoomer.
Mind-blowing.
Oh, come on, you know you're on the list.
Please just stop. Come on, just stop.
It's a simple question. Get it out.
Jesus, you all right?
Yeah, I think so.
What happened?
I don't know. It was just like a magnet or something pulling on my board. I know that sounds crazy.
Yeah, totally sounds crazy. So why'd you choose this scene?
Because she fell.
It wasn't because of Mike and 11 almost seeing each other?
Okay, it was also because I like how savage Mike was being in this scene. Like, he just straight up tell her she's annoying.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say as how savage 11 was being. She's just like, spook.
Yeah.
See ya.
Yeah. I also like that. She was just like, yeet.
Yeah. Okay. Well, very cool. Well, I've got a couple of cultural connections. I've been doing these each week with Justina. She's been sending in feedback and mentioning a few, and then I would kind of tag team on top of her. And she didn't send in feedback this week, so I didn't really catch a whole lot though. Just in Dustin's room, there was an ET little toy, maybe a foot tall. There was also a centipede poster in Dustin's room, and then I saw a Ghostbusters sign in his room. All those, I didn't pick up anything anywhere else, just in his room.
All right then.
All right. Well, let's talk about some news. All right, we've got a couple of things for this week's Hawkins Report. The first one is Dacre Montgomery going to play Nightwing? Now, this comes in from comicbook.com, and it's pretty interesting. It says that Stranger Things star Dacre Montgomery has fans questioning if the actor is up for the role of Batman protege Dick Grayson, aka Nightwing, in Warner Brothers DC Cinematic Universe. And the reason is that Montgomery posted a picture of Nightwing without a caption to his Twitter and Instagram accounts late Saturday. This was a week ago. And then both posts have since been deleted. And so I don't know. I don't know if this story has been updated, and I haven't seen anything else on it, but that'd be cool. I don't know if he could. I mean, I think he could. That came out wrong. I think he could pull it off. I don't know if he'd be my top choice for that. Like the thought of Joseph Gordon-Levitt that we got teased in one of the Christopher Nolan films, I thought that would have been a great choice. But if Dacre gets that job, I think that would be. I do think it'd be, something he could do a good job at. So we'll see. Okay. And you want to take the second article?
Yeah, I was actually looking at this earlier because I kind of want to.
Yeah.
But Stranger Things fans buy $400,000 worth of dinosaur hoodies, and this is from washfm.com. Is that the same Andrew that won their contest?
I think it is, actually. Yeah, Andrew posted this story on our Facebook page.
Yeah, so just some of the article. So Dustin was wearing, it's like a dark blue navy color of a hoodie, and it has like it's a
brontosaurus skeleton.
What kind of dinosaur is that?
It's a brontosaurus.
Yeah. Duh.
Well, you asked. What episode was that in? Was that
that's the first one.
Episode 1 of this season? Okay.
Yeah. Fans are so obsessed with the show that they aren't just eating Eggo waffles, but they're also listening to the 80s music featured on the series and getting inspired by the fashion from the show. They're calling me out. In fact, one hoodie that Gaten Matarazzo, his character Dustin wears, is so in demand that it's sold out. I guess the Science Museum of Minnesota tweeted it, and their caption was, "Dustin, drumroll. Thank you for hanging in there. We're back in business. Get your apparel here." And then they have like the link to get
Oh, cool. So you can actually buy one. Let's see if it's still in stock. I just clicked buy now. Ooh, they've got it in a hoodie, a t-shirt, a youth hoodie.
Oh, they got more?
A crew neck, a youth crew neck, and a toddler. And let's just take the adult hoodie. It comes in deep purple. Grab a large, add to cart. Hey, looks like it's in stock.
I don't wear a large.
I was shopping for me.
So then somebody else posted on Twitter, Kent Airdoll. I don't know who that is, but he's verified. So the Stranger Things hoodie is sold out in all sizes but 3XL at Science Museum store. Website already sold 80,000 too, despite being down early.
Wow. It says they moved 10,000 of these things and brought in $400,000.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, that's a good sign for this show. I mean, this shows that the show has, commercial value. There's no doubt that Like Ego, I'm sure they're paying for their mention in the show. And so that's one of the ways that the show makes money. And when a show has this much commercial appeal, that's going to help the show be that much more profitable. So, and even though it seems like the Netflix is committed to the show for the long term, it certainly doesn't hurt when a show is able to, not that they're making money off these sweatshirts. I don't think they are. What I'm trying to say is this is an example of how the show has impact on, and people are paying attention to what's being shown on screen, and that can turn into commercial dollars for the show. So that's really cool. Are you ready for the meme of the week?
So for the meme of the week is the caption is when someone tells you they don't like Stranger Things, and it's a picture of 11 from season 1, and they're like little tiny captions like throughout the picture, and it says, "I'm going to send you to the upside down. The Demogorgon will find you. Mouth breather. No, it goes for you."
That's true. Like, how can you not like Stranger Things?
Yeah, like Brock and Aunt Missy, they don't like it.
What?
I know. I disowned them from the family already. It's okay.
All right. Well, we're going to have a serious talk with them at Thanksgiving. All right. We'd also like to have a serious talk with you about your thoughts
and you can send in your feedback at 304-837-2278 or our feedback page. And you can also keep the conversation going on our social media. And our Instagram is Stranger Things GSM. Our Twitter is Upside Down GSM. And our Facebook is www.facebook.com/groups/Stranger Things GSM. And also the website is goldenspiralmedia.com/feedback. So thanks for listening to our podcast, and don't forget to stay strange.
You're just leaving me out of the ending.
Yeah, exactly. Stop recording.
I'm so hurt.
Good.